just take the experience as it is and just stay positive. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Key. I am a current esthetician student, and I am here to spill all of the tea on the aesthetics program that I am currently in. So if you are a current student or somebody who's wanting to pursue their career in aesthetics, then definitely keep on watching as I share my tips on starting your esthetician journey. Alright, so my first tip on starting your journey is to ask yourself why are you wanting to pursue aesthetics? So for me, the reason why I got into aesthetics is because I had been part of skincare for about 2 years. I've been in a network marketing business for about 2 years. So I really enjoyed the process of skincare. And then also, I just wanted to get into like facials and waxing and doing lashes, so I felt like the aesthetics program was the best route for me. Really just ask yourself if that is something that you're ready to pursue. I do see myself doing this 5+10 years down the line, opening up my own business and things like that. If that's something that you're definitely into, then definitely start looking into the aesthetics program, because then you're knowing that, hey, like I want to be here long term. Because if you're not looking to just be in aesthetics as a career, then once you get like not even halfway through the actual program, some days you're not going to have like clients and stuff to do, so you're going to be sitting around bored. But eventually you're going to get to that point where you're like burnt out, you don't want to do this anymore, it's become too hard, or you find out that it's not for you. Definitely sit yourself down and try to understand if this is really the program for you, something that you want to definitely pursue. And if it is, then look into it, start touring, start doing whatever you have to do to get into the program. All right, so now that you have decided that the aesthetics program is for you, there's something that you want to do full time, now it's time to do your research. So the first thing that I did when I was interested in the aesthetics program, I searched YouTube. I did everything that I possibly could, find all of the information that I possibly could when it came to the aesthetics. So like I looked up certain estheticians and their journeys and their advice on starting aesthetics programs and stuff like that. Now I will say that on YouTube it's kind of limited when it comes to the information that you're looking for on starting your journey. A lot of the people who are on YouTube, they do a lot of vlog style stuff, so you don't have you don't get the proper information that you need, but that's okay. I'm gonna give you a couple tips. I'm gonna give you some tea on my end on what I did. The first tip that I would say on your research journey, other than YouTube, is to tour the schools. Well, I wouldn't say tour the schools first. I will say at least look up the schools that's in your area so that you can tour their schools. Look at their websites, because that will determine if you really want to go to that school or not. So for example, like if there's not much information for you to find on the school, then that may not be a better fit for you. If you're one of those people who needs everything written out for you to kind of understand what you're going to get into, some people are like that. The more information, the better. And then for me, I just looked at all the schools in the neighborhood. So I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so it is very limited, small town, on beauty school. So there was 3 beauty schools in my city that I actually went to tour all 3. The first one I went to that I was really interested in was Clary Sage. I unfortunately didn't get to go to Clary Sage because, for one, my financial aid didn't fit it, and I really didn't want to come out of pocket for it. Even though I really loved it, I stayed around the corner from that beauty school. It was very professional. There was other people there. I loved the way it looked, but I realized that it wasn't going to fit my work schedule, and then also financial wise, it didn't work for me as well. The other school that I toured, I really didn't like so much. I'm not going to call them out on it, but they basically told me like, with your work schedule, you're probably not going to find any school that's going to fit that or whatever. So good luck with trying to get into school, yada, yada, yada. So that school definitely was an absolute no. And it was a little skeptical on how the school kind of looked to me anyway. So I didn't go to that school. And then lastly, the school that I actually picked was the Broken Arrow Beauty College that I actually went to. I toured the school, filled out the applications, and all that good stuff. So I really loved the way it looked. It was a very small, intimate school, so I knew I was going to get the resources that I needed. Also, it fit my work schedule, and I didn't have to come out of pocket. So that was a win-win for me. Really look into that when you're looking at these schools. Does it fit you? Are you a full-time employee? Look and see if that school has a part-time for you, so that you know it actually fits your work schedule, so that you can go to school and get your income to pay your bills as well. So that was a plus for me, that my school did provide part-time that did fit my work schedule as well. So that's something to look at when you're doing your research on the aesthetics program. All right, so you have made up your mind and you have toured your schools, you have made your final decision on the school that you want to go to. That a little disclaimer before I move on to the next tip is that some of these schools can have a waiting list. So if you are looking into the aesthetics program, definitely see how long the wait list is. So for me, I kind of got it easier. I had it a little bit easy because I did put my financial aid in early, because a lot of the schools on their website, they do have the school code on it. So on FAFSA, whenever you go onto FAFSA and sign up for your financial aid, you can just put in the school code and your information is already on there. So by the time you get to the school and you tour the school, your information is already in the computer, so they can go ahead and run your paperwork, run your application. So that's a less process that you have to worry about when it comes to signing up for the school. But back to the waiting list. So for me, I think I was like number 5 on the waiting list. I signed up, I think in October, November, I think is when I decided I wanted to go to aesthetics school. So I did everything really, really fast. But once I got to that school, I was number 5 on the waiting list. The next class wasn't until January. So that is a disclaimer if you are touring some of these schools. If they're very high-end school like Paul Mitchell, Aveda, a lot of them 9 times out of 10 will have a wait list for you, unless it's a rotating school. Like for example, Clary Sage was a rotating school. So for like the first 6 weeks, you're actually going to go to the local community college for 6 weeks, and then you rotate into the class like that. For some people that works, for some people that doesn't, because when you do go into a rotating school, you don't start off where everybody else is. You kind of have to catch up wherever they are and stuff like that. So that may be something that you're interested in. That may be not something that you're interested in. It's just up to you and what you're choosing. But for me, I kind of wanted to do the rotating thing just because, with rotating, you get in super fast. So like for Clary Sage, they get you in like every Monday or something like that. So you will start school very soon. But like I said, I didn't get to go there. But again, I'm going on a little tangent here. So definitely look and see how long the waiting list is. So for me, technically, I was supposed to start in the June class that started this past June, but I actually got lucky. A lot of people didn't start school when they were supposed to in the January class, so I got very lucky and got into the January class. So just be aware of that you may get lucky. There are people who do sign up for the school, but then, once things come up, people decide they don't want to do it anymore, or they can't afford it, or what have you. And so that moves you up on the list to actually start school soon. So just know that when you're on that waiting list, do be prepared for that so that you are ready to start school when you're supposed to. I definitely had a goal to finish school by a certain point. I definitely manifested starting the January class and everything like that. So definitely look into that and be aware that you may be on a waiting list when you do sign up and tour the school and everything like that. So apart from that, you've looked at the cost, you've picked your school. Now fast forward, school starts. Okay, your school is starting. They say, hey, orientation. So for me, my orientation was on the Friday, and then I had the whole entire weekend. School started for me on that Monday. For some other schools, you may have your orientation on a Thursday or something, and then you start school the next day. That's really just up to the school. They'll let you know that. My school texts me and say, hey, orientation's on such and such a date. Make sure you're there, because if you're not there, they do drop you. So make sure you do show up to your orientation classes. And orientation is very easy. I mean, we were there for like 4 hours or something. So we just, toured the school again. We met our instructor. They also did tell us certain things that we should be doing and don't do, which I will get into next in a little bit, to let you know some little tips on what to expect during orientation, some do's and some don'ts. But orientation is super easy. You're just signing paperwork, getting your fingerprint and all that, so you can clock in and all. Alright, so here's some tips on some do's and don'ts on your esthetician journey. The first do is to get some sleep right before, especially if you're starting the next day. You definitely don't want to be tired on the first day, because just like any school, like college, high school, whatever, it's the same process in esthetician. So definitely treat it as if it is a school, even though we're going to be doing something that we love. Get your energy up, make sure you eat something, because for us, in my program, I think our first break wasn't until like 10 o'clock. So definitely get you something to eat on the way, coffee, Starbucks. We will be taking a bunch of notes and everything like that, and watching a bunch of videos the first day. So it may make you a little groggy if you don't have any energy and you didn't get any sleep before. Because I know in my school, if you do get caught sleeping, they do tell you have to clock out and you miss your hours for the day. My third do is to stay positive, because I will say that this program can weigh you down, because it could be, for somebody who's like me, who's a little bit older. I may not look it, but I am 28 years old, so a lot of the girls that's in the school is a lot younger than me. You may get into arguments, or there's a lot of drama going on, or you get really bored. Just stay positive, because I will say your experience is what, so I will say just be positive about the situation, because you're going to get what you pay for, so it may be very hard, it may be very easy, or what have you, but just take the experience as it is and just stay positive. Another do I do recommend, which my instructor also recommended us during orientation day, was to research the products that you guys will be using, because within the first week you are going to be practicing massage movements, you're going to be practicing basic facials and stuff. So with practicing every day, it is going to cause your skin to break out. For my school, we use Eminence products. Not sure if you ever heard of Eminence, but that's an all natural based product line. Using these products every day can cause small breakouts here and there. So don't panic about if you do get like a pimple here or there. It's definitely happened because your skin is changing, especially when you're using different products that you're not used to. Even if you're using like chemical products and then you switch over to plant-based products, that will cause breakouts because your skin is trying to get used to all of that. So just don't panic. Definitely do the research on the products that you guys will be using, because you will be taking clients. So the more that you know, it doesn't hurt to know. So more informative, hey, the more tips you may get. You just never know. But definitely do your research on the products that the program that you will be using. All right, so for my first don't is don't have your eyelashes done and don't have your nails too long. Most instructors will inform you on that, but just in case they don't, at least you can be ahead by the time you get to school and orientation from yours truly. But like I said, no nails, so they will tell you if you do have long nails, you do have to get them soaked off before school starts. That is a penalty, and it's in the contract that we do sign that we can have long nails, because you do realize you are going to be doing facials, so they may not be comfortable for the client that you do if you do have long nails. Now if you do have your nails done, I think you can have them like an inch or two or something like that, or even have nail polish, but definitely don't have any long nails. And then because we are going to be practicing with steam eventually, we cannot wear our lashes. So if you do have lash extensions or you wear strip lashes, just know within the first couple weeks or so of you learning facials that you cannot have your lashes because they will come all the way off, just to let you know. So even though we want to be dressed up all day, we're going to be practicing on each other's faces, so definitely be aware of that, so you don't waste your money before school starts on having your lash extensions done or your nails done, because they're going to tell you to get rid of them. Don't number 2 that I have is don't create bad habits, i.e. attendance or eating in class or anything like that. I will say for sure, don't miss a whole bunch of days. For example, in my school, it's 600 hours. Just to put it in retrospect, if you do decide to do school full-time, for my school it's 8:30 to 4, and if you miss a day, that's a day that you have to catch up. That's 8 hours. If your schools have the option to stay late, you can definitely catch up that way. If you feel yourself getting behind as a full-time, see if your school does offer you to switch over to part-time, but what I would recommend is just do part-time if you can. I work a Tuesday through Thursday shift, so I have one free day where I can stay all day to catch up on hours. It does come in handy so that you don't go over those 60 hours, because if you do go over those 60 hours, for every hour that's over, you do have to pay that back. So for my school, for example, it's $10.75 for every hour gone over the 60. So definitely be aware of your attendance. You definitely don't want to start getting behind, especially since this is a fast pace. Within the first 4 weeks, there's a lot of book work that we have to do. For us, we took a test every week, sometimes twice a week, depending on how big the chapter was. So one thing you don't want to do is miss your theory classes in the morning, and then you don't know what chapters to study for, and then you have a test, and then now you're behind. So you don't want to create those bad habits, so just be aware of your attendance, that being the most important don't of being in the esthetician program. So for my last don't is don't get too close to people, and I know that may sound bad, but hold on, let me explain it to you. I'm not saying not to get close to people, because you never know. You may find somebody who you really trust, and that person is the person that you need in your life at that very moment. You meet somebody who's your soulmate, your best friend, whoever. I'm not saying don't get close to people, but I will say that this is still school, so even though we're going to be doing fun things, it's still drama can spread very easily, so do be aware of that. You tell somebody your information, and before you know it, especially if you go to a small school like mine, your information doesn't spread over not only to the estheticians there, but the barbers and the cosmos know your whole entire life story. So definitely don't get close to people. Be aware of who you're trusting and giving your information to. Definitely keep it professional if you can. Not saying don't talk to people or anything like that, because I do talk to people. I'm a very genuine person. I love talking to everybody. I'm very nice, but at the same time too, I know I can't get too close to people because you just never know, honestly. So just be aware of that when you are in school, because you are going to school with a bunch of kids who are out of high school, so they still have that mentality of spread drama. You get bored, they don't have anything else to do, so now drama starts to spread. So you don't want to be in the middle of that. You are there to pursue a career, so we do have things that we have to do, so just be aware of the drama that spreads in that. Alright guys, so those are all the tips that I have today on starting your esthetician journey. I definitely know it was a lot of information for you, but if you definitely found it informative, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and cut on your post notifications for when I post every week. But definitely stay tuned. I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.